In this lecture, we are going to study some simple circuits which are used to turn on an SCR. So these are called as triggering circuits of SCR. In previous lecture, we have seen some methods of triggering on an SCR. Forward voltage triggering, gate triggering, dV by dt triggering, temperature triggering, light triggering were the methods used to turn on an SCR. These are some of the circuits which are used in those methods. So these are called as triggering circuits of SCR. Also they are called as firing circuits or turn on circuits. So these are the circuits used for turning an SCR on. The circuits used here are resistance triggering circuit and there is RC triggering circuit. In this lecture we are going to study about resistance triggering circuit. So this is how our resistance triggering circuit looks like. With this is the supply voltage Vs, this is the load here, this is alternating voltage Vs, that is the supply voltage. There is one resistance here R1, resistance R2. The voltage appearing across the load will be V0, current flowing through load will be I0. There is thyristor T here. Voltage across the thyristor will be Vt. This resistance R2 is a variable resistance, meaning you can vary the value of this resistance R2. There is a diode here and there is a stabilizing resistor R here. The voltage appearing across this resistor, the voltage drop across this resistor is taken as Vg. And this is the same voltage Vg that is appearing across the gate to cathode terminal of SCR. You see here, this is anode of SCR, this is gate terminal and this is cathode terminal. So voltage drop across R, which is Vg, is the same voltage appearing across gate to cathode. Okay. Now when this voltage Vg becomes equal to gate triggering voltage, there is one voltage called as gate triggering voltage. When this Vg reaches this gate triggering voltage, then the thyristor turns on. If this gate voltage Vg is less than this voltage Vgt, the thyristor will not turn on, it will be turned off. If Vgp is greater than Vgt, then also the thyristor will turn off. This is what we are going to study further. So here you understand that resistance R2 can be varied in such a way that this voltage Vg will be adjusted. It can be made greater than Vgt or less than Vgt or equal to Vgt. So in first case, let us see where Vgp is less than Vgt. Now here, this is the same circuit I have taken. This is the same circuit of resistance triggering circuit. In this case, resistance R2 is varied in such a way that value of this resistance R2 is large enough so that there is a little voltage drop across R and therefore Vg or the peak value of Vg, you see here peak value of Vg, that is Vgp, is less than Vgt. So in this case, thyristor will not turn on. Let us see how that happens. So this is the waveform for our supply voltage Vs, which is an alternating voltage, AC voltage. Let us mark here the time intervals. So this waveform is Vs with respect to omega t, time period. So this is your one time period, this is second time period, this is third time period. Okay, and this is the waveform for supply voltage Vs, which is an alternating voltage. So this time period is pi, that is 180 degrees. Here you will have 90 degrees, here it's 0 degrees. So this is 0, 90, pi, 270, 360, 3 pi and so on. Okay, so these are the time intervals we have marked already. So we will see what happens in first half cycle, positive half cycle, then we will see what happens when voltage becomes 0, then we will see what happens during negative half cycle, and the same thing will then repeat here. Now this resistance R2 in this case is adjusted to be a large value. So let's see how this VGP looks like, how the gate voltage, that is voltage drop across R, looks like. So for that we have taken this waveform. So this is Vg with respect to omega t. And the gate triggering voltage is marked here in blue. You can see it is marked here. So this voltage, this is the amplitude of gate triggering voltage VGT. So this much is VGT. For the thyristor to turn on, the gate voltage Vg has to be equal to VGT. Now let's see what happens here when R2 is a large value. So when R2 is a large value, your VGP, see here, this is the gate voltage. So the peak value of gate voltage, this arrow represents the peak value of gate voltage. You see here, it is not touching VGT, which means that VGP is not equal to VGT. Here VGP is less than VGT. So this is happening here. VGP is less than VGT. So in this case, thyristor will not turn on because the gate triggering voltage is not reached. The voltage across gate to cathode is not enough so as to turn on the thyristor T. That is why your thyristor will be in off state. Now if the thyristor is in off state, let's see what happens to output voltage V0. This is the waveform for output voltage V0 with respect to omega t. So output voltage V0 will be some negligible value. Let's take it as 0. So during positive half cycle it is 0, negative half cycle also it is 0 because the thyristor is not turning on in any half cycle here. Okay. Again, same will be for load current I0. Load current I0 will be a very small value and it will be taken as 0. So you see here in pink color, the current is also 0. And the voltage across Vt, the voltage across thyristor, which is Vt, this is Vt with respect to omega t. So that voltage, the voltage here, you see here thyristor is in off state. So it is providing open terminals here. It is providing open circuit here. So whatever is the supply voltage applied, that same voltage will appear across the thyristor T. So this same voltage waveform of Vs will appear across thyristor Vt. See here, the same voltage waveform for Vs is appearing across Vt because the thyristor is in off state. It is providing open terminals. So across these open terminals, supply voltage Vs is appearing. Okay, so when thyristor is off, the supply voltage appears across thyristor, whereas voltage dropping across the load is very negligible, so it is taken as voltage 0. So this is what happens when the thyristor is off, and this is the load current. So this is one case where R2 is very large and VGP, the peak value of gate voltage, is less than VGT. Let's see the second case now. In this second case, R2 is adjusted, the value of R2 is adjusted in such a way that VGP is equal to VGT. So we are taking the same circuit here. This will be your gate voltage. This voltage drop is gate voltage. R2 is adjusted in such a way that this peak of this gate voltage becomes equal to VGT. So this is the supply voltage waveform. The same what we have taken in the earlier case. This is the supply voltage waveform. These are the markings. For pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, this is your supply voltage. Okay. Now we are marking one more time interval here. Okay, so this is pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, and these are the more time intervals marked here. We will come to know why these time intervals are marked here. Now let's see how will be the waveform for Vg. Now here, this is your Vg with respect to omega t. This is your VGT, which is the gate triggering voltage. This amplitude is VGT. Now you see here, this value of resistance is adjusted in such a way that Vg is large. The voltage drop across R is large. So that voltage will keep on increasing. And at this instant, you see here, peak voltage of Vg, which is VGP, is becoming equal to VGT. And once it becomes equal to VGT, Once VGP is equal to VGT, thyristor turns on this. So this thyristor will turn on at this marked interval here. So you see here, this time interval is nothing but 90 degrees. This is pi by 2. This is pi. So this is pi by 2. So at pi by 2, your thyristor is turning on. This thyristor is turning on. And once the thyristor turns on, the gate voltage VG will lose its control over the thyristor and it will go back to 0. It will come down to 0. So here at 90 degrees our thyristor has turned on. Now let's see what is the voltage across load and what is the current flowing through the load. So your voltage, this is your VGP becoming equal to VGT. Thyristor turns on. So this is your waveform for load. This is V0 with respect to omega t. So V0 at this instant at 90 degrees. Earlier it was 0 because the thyristor was off. Now at 90 degrees the thyristor has turned on and the same voltage which is here, the supply voltage, the falling voltage will come across the load. Okay, since this is on, the same voltage of Vs which is now here, see this time interval this much, this is the falling positive half cycle. So this same positive half cycle, half of the positive half cycle will appear here across V0. So when the thyristor is on, the same voltage of supply voltage Vs is coming across the load V0. Same will be the case for I0 because I0, this is I0 with respect to omega t. I0 is in phase with V0. So earlier thyristor was off, so this current value was 0. And now since the thyristor has turned on, current will start flowing and you will get here this waveform. Because current and V0 are in phase. Current and voltage are in phase. This is a resistive load. Let's see what happens to Vt. This is the voltage across thyristor. Now this is on. At this instant, at 90 degrees, thyristor comes to on state. Before that, it was off. So before the thyristor turns on, when it was in off state, the same voltage what was applied through supply source, this same voltage will appear across the thyristor. So this is your Vt with respect to omega t, and this same voltage, because it was not turned on, that same voltage will come here. At this instant 90 degrees, since the thyristor is turned on, now the voltage across thyristor will be 0. Why is it 0? Because it is turned on. When it is turned on, it provides a short circuit and voltage across the short circuit is 0. So this is what happens in positive half cycle. Now in the negative half cycle, you see here supply voltage Vs has reached a value 0. When the supply voltage reaches 0, thyristor turns off. Okay, when the supply voltage reaches to point 0, thyristor turns off. So at this instant pi, thyristor is off. If the thyristor is off, what voltage will come across thyristor? The same supply voltage will come across thyristor. And what about V0? If thyristor is off, at this instant, if the thyristor is off, V0 will have again 0. When the thyristor is off here, it is having 0. So this is your gate voltage when thyristor is off. This is your output voltage V0, 0 when the thyristor is off. This is your output load current when thyristor is off, and when the thyristor is off, the same voltage as the supply voltage appears here. That is the same voltage, negative half cycle of the supply voltage. The thyristor is turning on here at this instant of positive half cycle. So till this instant is reached, see here, till this instant is reached, the thyristor will remain in off state. So with this instant here, as the voltage starts increasing, supply voltage starts increasing, your gate voltage or the voltage across this resistor Vg also starts to increase. As it increases and reaches at this point here, Vgp is equal to Vgt, Vgp is equal to Vgt, and thyristor turns on. So when thyristor turns on, it loses its control over thyristor and goes back to 0. So your output voltage will be again same as supply voltage, that is this portion of supply voltage. Current will follow the output voltage. So these two are same waveforms, and your thyristor will be now in on state. When it is in on state, voltage across thyristor is 0 because it is providing a short here. So this is what happens when R2 is adjusted so that VGP, see here, VGP is equal to VGT. So you can see here with this blue arrow, these two arrows are showing the firing angle of this SCR. Firing angle meaning the angle at which SCR turns on. Okay, it is also called as triggering angle or turn on angle. So the firing angle here is 90 degrees. Alpha is equal to 90 degrees because your thyristor is turning on at an instant pi by 2 or 90 degrees. So the firing angle here, in this case where VGP is equal to VGT, firing angle is equal to 90 degrees. Now let us see third case where R2 is adjusted so that VGP is greater than VGT. So we have taken the same circuit here. Voltage across R is VG, which is the gate voltage across gate cathode terminals. R2 will be varied such that VG peak value, that is VGP, will be greater than VGT. Now how is it happening? Let us see. This is our supply voltage Vs. These are the, so this is Vs with respect to omega t time interval. These are the markings for time intervals. This is the supply voltage, alternating voltage. Okay, this is pi, 2 pi, 3 pi and so on. This is the voltage drop across resistor R, that is Vg, gate voltage. So this is Vg with respect to omega t. This is our gate triggering voltage. You can see the amplitude here. It is same for all three cases. Vgt, that is gate triggering voltage. Now you can see Vg rising here, Vg voltage drop here. So as the Vs is rising, Vg is also rising, and you can see the amplitude of the peak voltage here, which is greater than Vgt. So VGP or peak value of gate voltage is greater than VGT here. And as we have seen earlier, when VGP is equal to VGT, that is when this voltage VG intersects or reaches this point of VGT, thyristor turns on. So in this case, our thyristor will turn on at this instant, which is shown by this dotted line. So here the thyristor turns on. So let us see with turn on of thyristor, what will be the load voltage? So load voltage is V0. So this is V0 waveform with respect to omega t. So V0, when the thyristor was off, that is during this time period when the thyristor is off, this is 0. And when the thyristor is on at this time instant, your V0 will be following Vs, that is supply voltage Vs. This portion will appear across the load, that is this. And one more thing here, once the thyristor is turned on, then the gate loses its control over the thyristor, and hence it falls back to 0 volts here. Similarly for current, load current, here I0, this is the waveform for I0 versus omega t. So I0, when thyristor was off, I0 was negligible or 0 value. And when it is turned on at this instant, I0 would be this value, which is I0 is following V0 because this load is resistive load. And let's see what is happening at SCR. This is SCR's voltage waveform. This is Vt with respect to omega t. So when the thyristor was off, it was providing open terminals here. So this portion of supply voltage would appear here across the thyristor. And at this instant when the thyristor is on, the voltage across thyristor will be 0. You can see here during positive half cycle when the thyristor is on, the voltage across thyristor is 0. Okay. Now when the supply voltage reaches at this instant pi, at this instant what happens? Current flowing through thyristor becomes 0, and that is why thyristor turns off. Now as the thyristor turns off, or before that, let us see here something. This is these two arrows. which are showing our firing angle. So here the firing angle is 30 degrees. So you can see here the turning on instant of thyristor is less than 90 degrees. This would be 90 degrees, which was in the earlier case. In this case it is less than 90 degrees. So here your turn on angle or firing angle alpha is less than 90 degrees. We have considered it as 30 degrees. So alpha is equal to 30 degrees here. Now here, as the voltage, supply voltage reaches 0 at pi, thyristor will turn off. Once the thyristor turns off, V0 will be 0 as shown by this green color here. See here, once the thyristor is off, your V0 will be 0, also I0 will be 0, and the voltage now appearing across thyristor would be same as supply voltage. What is the supply voltage here? Negative portion. So negative half cycle of supply voltage will appear across thyristor. And you see till here, till 30 degrees here of the next positive half cycle, thyristor is not turned on. So till that portion, that is this portion of supply voltage will appear across thyristor, because from here till here the thyristor is off, and here output voltage and output current are also 0. Once at this time interval where Vg is equal to Vgt at this time period, which is marked here with dotted line, at this time instant your thyristor turns on. Once it turns on, gate loses its control over thyristor and falls back to 0. So it will continue to be 0 till the thyristor is turned on again. That is till the next positive half cycle is coming here. So once the thyristor turns on, gate loses its control over thyristor, and now your voltage would be the same as positive half cycle, because here your thyristor has turned on. Same way for the output current, because the thyristor has turned on, current is following the output load voltage because we have considered resistive load. And now here at this instant, since your thyristor is turning on, voltage across thyristor will be 0 because it is acting like a short when it is in on state. So this is what happens when R2 is adjusted so as to have VGP, the peak value of gate voltage here, that is this voltage across resistor, greater than VGT, that is VGP is greater than VGT. Okay, so if you notice here, firing angle alpha is always proportional to R2. So as we vary R2, the gate voltage VG will vary. As VG varies, alpha will vary. Okay. In the second case where R2 is adjusted so as to have VGP less than VGP or VGT equal to VGT, in that case alpha is 90 degrees. Whereas in the third case where VGP is greater than VGT, that's what we have just saw. So in that case alpha is less than 90 degrees. Okay. So also alpha can never exceed 90 degrees. Okay. See here, when I say alpha can never exceed 90 degrees, what I mean is if this voltage, if VG voltage exceeds here, so even here where this is the time period which is greater than 90 degrees, so even in this time period, if this is exceeding in this case, if it is falling down or even if it is going or rising up, VGP will never be equal to VGT. VGP becomes equal to VGT only at this instant, only at 90 degrees. Beyond 90 degrees, VGP is never equal to VGT. That is why your firing angle will be never greater than 90 degrees. So firing angle is always between 0 to 90 degrees. It can never exceed 90 degrees. Okay. So this is all about your SCR resistance triggering method or resistance triggering circuit. Thank you.